my
my
goodness.
gosh.
Are employees fun to work with?
They are. They are. And you know what? They're a joy every day. Every day. But
Absolutely,
maybe
but
not every day.
not every day. Well, and we're going to be covering some stuff, some great stuff.
Oh, definitely. I'm BJ Flagg.
And I'm Rich G. And this is episode 209, Having Tough Conversations with Your Employees.
This is one of those hardest responsibilities as an employee, as a business owner, pardon me, to have with your employee. You know, it could be how they talk to a client, how they treat each other, it could be how they treat their job. It's a hard one.
Yeah, interpersonal situations, and they're huge. Take your eye off the focus and direction of your company. Dealing with employees, it's really tough.
Yeah. And you know what? These are the people who you have vetted, approved, hired as the best. You chose them out of a gigantic sea of people because they were the best. So act in that interest to maintain the best in them.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about having tough conversations with your employees. So let's just jump right into tip number one. Don't procrastinate and wait for it to go away. This is
Yeah.
the number one issue
Really.
I run into with my business clients. And I tell them you need to rip off the Band-Aid as soon as possible.
Oh my gosh. You know, so many employees are unwilling, owners are unwilling to have this tough conversation. They just like actually put it off.
Yeah, they're afraid of hurting their feelings or causing angst among the troops. And that's the biggest thing. You know, they want to have everybody getting along, everybody's a happy family, but sometimes you have to have that conversation, but they're afraid of hurting their feelings. That's the term I hear all the time.
And you know what? I promise you that it'll only get worse if you don't deal with it immediately. And, you know, the employees, I think they're aware, I think, some of them are aware that, and they're hoping that it'll go under the rug. No.
Yeah. They're very perceptive. The other employees are perceptive of bad behavior. And unfortunately, if you do procrastinate, it's going to crop up again and again. And the other employees will think that it's okay to act like this,
Right.
And it could be coming in late or treating a client unprofessionally or something like that. They start to see bad behavior become normalized, and that's a bad thing for you.
And, it's also just a matter of how they treat you, how
Yes.
they, interact with you. You have to nip it in the bud.
They're
Tip
not
number two. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're not your friend.
Right. Tip number two, document. I have talked to so many people about this. Every instance and conversation has to be documented. When it happened, where it happened, what category does it fall under? How did you deal with it? How did the conversation get received? Then next steps. This is the biggest type of thing that people will say, oh, no. It could be just a really quick little note, right?
Yeah, it could be a quick note, but you need to be detailed. And sometimes if it starts to become a problem, you need to document it, and you sometimes need to have them sign it, saying we've had this conversation and I just need you to sign it, because that's where the employee realizes that their behavior is becoming serious.
Right.
And because a lot of them take it as like, oh, that's okay. And no, this is serious.
Yeah. And you know what? It's a boundary.
Yeah.
They went over the line. This is what happens. And don't make much of it. You know what I mean? Just do it, get it done, move on. And no emotion. No emotion.
Yes.
That's a huge thing. Sometimes you have to have these conversations with someone, and then you need to speak with them again. If you didn't document the other one, it didn't happen. And you need that ability to go back and refer to it, when it happened before. And they'll say it didn't. And you have proof that it did.
And from a legal, legal
Yeah.
perspective, also, you want to have this documentation because if it starts to escalate, you then get into the whole performance improvement plan, a PIP, where you actually give them 30 days to change their behavior or to deliver a certain set of priorities. Most of the time, when you PIP someone, performance improvement plan, when you
Mhm.
PIP them, that means they're going to get fired, and
Right.
you need to have that documentation to back it up that you've really
Right.
tried to work with them and change their behavior.
But if you've documented before, by the time it hits a PIP, you have a very full background of, instances where things have happened before,
Yeah.
and it does go a little bit smoother. If I hate to say it,
Yeah.
give us tip number 3.
Tip 3 is be consistent with your message with all employees. Now, we all have our favorites in the company, people that we like, our right hand people.
Oh
But
yeah.
sometimes when you're reprimanding one person, you might not treat one of your favorites the same way. And you have to be an equal opportunity offender when dealing with these like instances. If one of your favorites does the same thing that you reprimanded, you need to treat that person the same way and have the same conversation.
Yeah, you just cannot reprimand one employee and let another one get off. You just cannot do it because they're all watching you.
Yeah.
And, you're doing this obviously, in another office, you're not doing it in front of the whole group, if no shaming, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they all talk. They all talk.
Your team will
And
see your uneven leadership. And I promise you, they might take advantage of the situation, seeing
yeah,
your uneven leadership.
yeah, you are not the only person who watched Survivor last night. This is something that you have to be very aware of.
Yeah, and I've seen it happen. And the
Yeah.
manager will come to me, "What do I do?" And I said, "Well, you haven't been treating people equally. And in the end, it's going to cause you more problems. And it might sacrifice the cohesiveness of your team. You start to
Right.
get mutinies or factions that start fighting against one
Yeah.
another."
And there's only one person who's to blame for that. That would be you,
Yeah.
because you have to nip it in the butt. So, tip number 4, have an all hands meeting if you get over 2 employees. And I've had a lot of people say to me, "Oh, that seems extreme. That seems extreme." And I say, "Ooh, no, 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 no. You want to nip the issue in the butt. The faster people understand the policy of the company, the faster you can move on.
Yeah.
Your job is to run the company. Sometimes it's not going to be pleasant. And some of the conversations are a little tougher than others. But if you nip it very, very quickly, the amount of time that you have to spend on the issue is so much less."
Yeah, and you'll find that there'll be helpful conversations that come out of the meeting. You need to be open and listen to their thoughts. This is how you all will grow as a company internally. It's getting
Yeah.
people, because some of the what I call problem children have a certain mindset. And when they see that other people don't have that same mindset, they'll realize that it's not just you being the bad guy, it's that their behavior is bad.
Right. Right. And that's where you'll see the turnaround.
Mhm.
That's where you're going to see the positive turnaround that affects the whole company. Someone will have a moment. I hate to say it. Sometimes people have a moment and you document it, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't ever happen again for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
They just had like a blit. Others, it might persist, and then you have a path. But I think people actually feel better when they know what the path of the company is, that consistent boundaries made, process. They want to be part of that company.
Yeah.
So it has a very positive result.
I had this problem when I was in corporate where I was holding a meeting and there was one team member that disagreed with me and yelled at me and walked out of the room. And I just kept my cool. I continued the meeting. And I said,
Yeah.
okay, why don't we leave? And I called that employee back into the conference room and I made sure everybody saw me do that. And then I sat down with the employee and I asked him what his problem was, what's the deal?
Yeah.
And I said, there are two ways of dealing with this, professionally and unprofessionally. Do you understand what you did was unprofessional? You yelled at a superior at me in front of the team. I go, that can't happen again. And
Yeah.
I dealt with it immediately. I pulled the Band-Aid off and I said, do you understand? You should not be yelling, first of all. You lost
Yeah.
people. And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, everything. I go, okay. And everyone saw me have that conversation. And then at the end, we shook hands and he walked out with his head down and he understood that he made a mistake. But I said,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you either respect and understand my position or you got to go. And I said, you can't do this again. And he never did it again.
Yeah. And I guess the big thing there is you as a leader needed to understand that you act for the team,
Yeah.
for the team, the whole team, and it can't disintegrate in one tiny little part. We've got a great book today.
Oh, this is one of the best. This is a book that I recommend to a lot of my clients, but this is like the Bible. It's called Crucial Conversations, Tools for Talking When the Stakes Are High. This is a book. It's like in its second or third edition. It's just an incredible book. It's by Carrie Patterson, Joseph Grenny, Ron McMillan, and Al Switzler, who is the father of the Swizzler red licorice fortune, just to let you know. But Crucial Conversation revolutionizes the way millions of people communicate when the stakes are high.
He helps you kind of prepare for high stake situations, transform anger and hurt feelings into powerful dialogue. It's a great book.
Yeah, it's how to be persuasive and not abrasive. It's just a great book for managers and leaders who are having some problems with some of their people or talking to clients. There's a whole thing of having tough conversations with clients.
You may hear about that too.
Yeah, and that's it.
I have one of our sponsors, Rich G. Are you having employee issues? Are they not getting along with your team? Are they treating the clients with professionality? Are you spending more time on personal issues than you are growing your business? I have the prescription for you. Talk to Rich G. One free session will show you that Rich is the real deal. He helps businesses get back on track and make more money without working harder. He helps you work smarter. Go to richg.com to reserve a free session with Rich today.
And our other sponsor is New Renew Brand Marketing. Do you need a brand marketing partner to be an active and committed part of your resource team? Look no further. I have someone in my community you want to talk to, BJ Flagg from New Renew Brand Marketing. They are a full service agency who can work on strategy, messaging, branding to implementation, websites, PR, social media, email marketing. They're the group for you. And that's NURENU.com. Thank you to our producer and king of creative, Richard Scalzo, bringing you the best small business podcast every single Tuesday. Have an unbelievable week.
Catch you later.